Good morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures if you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin. You have come to the right place as you listen to The Bright Side every day. You are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day in The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis, and while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, you've come to the right place. We want to hear from you on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls in our second segment. We have Stephen Ewer coming on at the bottom of the hour to talk about protein and detoxification and glutathione. He's got a new protein product out, and I think you guys will be interested in hearing about this. I was fascinated by the concept behind his new protein. And we'll talk to Stephen at the bottom of the hour about some general ideas of detoxification as well as his protein product and protein in general. 844-236-6010 is our number if you have questions about the longevity products business, formulations, ingredients, something you may have heard about, read about. 844-236-6010 is our number on The Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And you can also call 866-735-2470. Ask about joining the Bright Side Ben team. For a one-time $30 fee, you can be in business for yourself and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Everything your skin needs and nothing it doesn't in any of our Truth Skin Health products. They're all available at truthtreatments.com. Got holiday specials and new products up as well. Truthtreatments.com. Truthtreatments.com. All right, welcome back to The Bright Side. We've been talking about the skin for a while now. That's a particular expertise of mine, as many of you know. And it's also a poster child for what's wrong with how we treat the body, for how we take care of our body. We take care of it on the symptom level in terms of the skin. Not only do we take care of the symptom level, we literally take care of it on the outside, skin being on the outside. A hallmark or a key principle, key pillar of healing, of wellness, of reversal of all chronic degenerative diseases. A key pillar is where you see the problem is not where the problem begins. You got to be at where the problem begins to take care of the problem. And even if the problem is something as benign as dry skin, human skin's not supposed to be dry. So if skin is dry, you got a health issue. You got a health problem, a biochemical issue. And you're not going to be able to address your dry skin from the level of the dry skin. Even worse, you're going to make your skin, you're going to shut down your skin's ability to moisturize itself, making it drier in the long run. You can't take care of your dry skin at the level of the dry skin. You can't take care of your acne at the level of the acne. You can't take care of your hyperpigmentation or wrinkles or rosacea or eczema or psoriasis or whatever your health challenge is at the level of that skin health challenge. That's a principle. If you're working on your skin by treating the skin with exceptions, you're not going to be able to get much benefit. Now, if you have bacteria, if you have for antimicrobial kinds of purposes, that's different. But I'm thinking about long-term chronic conditions like aging or like failure to heal or like eczema or psoriasis or acne or any of the dozen plus different ways our skin can be rashy or pimply or plaquey or broken, all the different ways the skin can break down. And by the way, rosacea is a little bit special here in the sense that rosacea is a tertiary skin issue. Skin is usually secondary. In terms of rosacea, it happens after you have an immune problem, then you have a blood problem, then you have a skin problem. That's a little bit different. But for all intents and purposes, rosacea is one of the big dozen or so skin issues, we'll say. And I want to talk about each individual skin issue after we get over this theoretical hump here. We're kind of talking about it in theory. Pillar number one, in terms of the theory of taking care of the skin, is where you see the problem is not where the problem begins. Theory number two is the skin is not separate. It's actually a corollary. It's associated with theory number one, we'll say. The skin's not separate from the body. If you have a biochemical problem, it's eventually going to show up on the skin. If you got a skin problem, you got a biochemical problem. It's all connected. This idea of breaking the body up into parts is an anachronism. It's from a time gone by when we didn't understand how the system, how nature worked. In the past, we have wrongly concluded as scientists and as a culture, we have wrongly concluded that the body is made up of a bunch of separate parts, and you can treat those separate parts individually. That's not true. The body's a system. We didn't know about systems until networking came around in the 1930s and 1940s. All of a sudden, we had a new way of looking at the world through systems. We knew what systems were, of course, but we didn't really know that the world and nature and all of its manifestations, including the human body, were also systems, and you can't just treat one part without treating the whole thing. The beautiful thing about using nutrition is you treat the whole thing. When you take drugs, you treat a part. When you take vitamins, you treat the whole thing. That's why when you take nutrients, you get multiple beneficial effects, because with nutrients, you're treating the whole thing, i.e. the whole system. So principle number one, or pillar number one, is where you see the problem is not where it is. Principle number two is the body is a system. It operates as a system. And then two other kind of related ideas, or we'll say two other theoretical ideas, are cells and stuff and Play-Doh and Play-Doh machine. Those are the four major ideas that you got to have under your belt. You got to at least have in your mental toolkit, your mental tool belt, if you're going to be able to understand how to reverse skin problems, or any problems really. Where you see the problem isn't where the problem is. The skin is a system, cells and stuff, Play-Dohs and Play-Doh and Play-Doh machine. All right, we talk about cells and stuff all the time. Cells are where everything begins. The stuff is the end result, which means if you put it all together, you got to be at the level of the cell. A cell is a Play-Doh machine, and the stuff that comes out of it is Play-Doh. Play-Doh machines, I'm sure everybody knows what a Play-Doh machine is. You put Play-Doh on the top, you squeeze down, and a long tube is extruded. The word is extruded out. Extrusion is a very unique process. In fact, in food processing, extrusion machines revolutionized food processing. That's a whole other story. In any case, the Play-Doh is extruded out of the Play-Doh machine, and that's how cells work. They extrude stuff. To put it simply, they extrude skin. They extrude collagen, they extrude elastin, they extrude moisture factors. They extrude all kinds of substances, and the trick to having beautiful skin is to turn on the cell so it can extrude stuff correctly. And in order for that to happen, there have to be plenty of resources, a lot of things have to go right, put it that way. Now, fortunately, we don't have to think about it. All we got to do is just basically feed the system with oxygen and keep the system clean, feed the system with nutrients and oxygen, and keep the system clean. That's the good news. That's all you got to do. You got to feed the system, the cells and stuff, the Play-Doh and the Play-Doh machines. You got to feed the cells, feed the Play-Doh machines, oxygen, nutrients, and give it a clean place to do its work. When the cells, i.e. the Play-Doh machines, don't have one of those three components, the Play-Doh's messed up. The stuff that comes out is messed up. That's as simple as you can get. Now, I'm going to talk about each individual of the major skin problems here. I'm going to do that for the next few days, or next few weeks, actually, probably, because there's a lot to say. But those are the basic principles. Number one, where you see the problem isn't where the problem is. Number two, the skin is part of an entire system. It's connected. It's all one system that shows up in multiple ways. The whole body is. Number three, cells and stuff. Number four, Play-Doh and Play-Doh machines. All right, we'll take your phone calls in our next segment. If you have questions or comments or success story you'd like to share, 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back on the bright side. Lines open for you at 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. If you've got questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, comment, or a success story you'd like to share, especially about our Truth Skin Health products, by the way. If you've been using our Truth Skin Health products, love to hear what you think. And also, if you've noticed benefits from your longevity supplements, love to hear what you think there as well. We've got Stephen Hewer, by the way, coming up at the bottom of the hour, talking about his new protein product, as well as protein in general and detox in general. And we're going to talk about glutathione as well. That comes up at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get your calls this segment. Longevity products can be purchased at off of the websites at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or by calling 866-735 2470, 866-735 2470. We've got news stories, blog posts, videos, lots of free information, health information on our websites. We've got our coast-to-coast interviews as well at criticalhealthnews.com, and then pharmacistben.com and brightsideben.com. And also, you might want to think about joining the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. Click on the Join the Team links at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or call 866-735-2470 for more information. All right, so we're going to talk about the skin and skin health issues, skin health challenges, what they are and what you can do about them, and we'll do that here starting now for the next few days, and we do have lines open, 844-236-6010. The first skin health challenge that I want to address is rosacea. And I'm going to address it first because when I think of rosacea, I really don't think of a skin problem. I don't have rosacea, but I'm talking from a biochemical perspective. When I think about any skin diseases, I don't really think of a skin problem, but nothing says internal circulatory issue more classically than rosacea. Why? Because everybody who has rosacea knows that when you eat a certain food, your skin will get red. It's pretty much that simple, or maybe alcohol, or ingest something. Sometimes drugs can do it. People who have rosacea know that when they ingest something, their skin will get red. When they ingest certain things, their skin will get red. Sometimes temperature changes can do it. But for the most part, it's related to food. Everybody with rosacea knows this. Yet we still have these crazy ideas about how you handle rosacea. One of the craziest, most nonsensical ideas that I hear about rosacea, just the craziest thing to me, is this idea of mites on the skin causing rosacea. Now, what happened was about 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago or so, 15, 20 years ago, they noticed that there were things growing on our skin. Everybody has stuff growing on their skin. We have a whole ecosystem, a jungle of bacteria and funguses and mites and microscopic critters living on our skin, living in our follicles, living in our pores. Yes, that's right. Do you know you have bacteria that live in the follicles of your eyelashes? I mean, there's a whole jungle of microscopic and submicroscopic creatures that live on our skin. And it was discovered that there was these things called Demodex mites, maybe 20 years ago, and they noticed that there were more Demodex mites in patients who had rosacea. So immediately they came to the conclusion that Demodex mites cause rosacea. Not true. Demodex mites, like a lot of other bacteria, or like a lot of other microbes, I should say, live on the skin. And when the skin gets hot, the population of these critters changes. Heat induces proliferation of some critters. Some critters grow more when there's heat. Vasodilation, blood flow, increases heat. The rosacea patient has hot skin. You can actually see, you don't have to see necessarily, but sometimes you can actually see the inflammation. Inflammation is 4 factors: dolor, cholera, rub, or tumor. That's inflammation. Dolor is pain, cholera is heat, rubor is redness, tumor is inflammation, swelling, growth. That's the cardinal signs of inflammation. But you don't have to have necessarily macro visible inflammation to have associate with your rosacea. There's always going to be some kind of micro inflammation, however, and that micro inflammation involves heat, and that can stimulate or increase the proliferation of these critters, or certain critters on the skin. So sometimes you'll hear people saying this. Now, if you're not in the skin business, you probably haven't heard that, or if you don't have rosacea, you haven't heard that. But if you have rosacea or you're in the skin business, you know what I'm talking about. It's this idea that mites, the outside world, causes the problem. That's basically what we're talking about when we say mites cause rosacea. Now, they give you antibiotics for rosacea, too, by the way. That's one of the treatments. Antibiotics work by acting as anti-inflammatories. So they give you, by focusing on the bacteria microbe, the outside part of the skin, what you do is you run into the same problem that you run into when you try to treat dry skin from the outside in, or rosacea, or psoriasis, or eczema, or anything else. Number one, it doesn't work. And number two, you miss an opportunity to really take care of the problem and to save your life and add years to your life and to minimize your risk of other health challenges. Because if you have rosacea and you're only treating it at the symptom level and the problem is still percolating along underneath, you're running higher risks of all kinds of health challenges later on down the road. That's the point. Rosacea doesn't seem like it's the end of the world, but it is a harbinger, a portend. It is a shot across the bow. It's a warning that you're on the way to something else that's much more unpleasant than rosacea. And by treating it as if it were a mite issue or an outside issue, you're missing an opportunity to save yourself from misery down the road and to add years to your life. So what do you do if you have rosacea? Well, first of all, we should always understand that redness is a cardinal sign of a defensive response, an immune response. But we'll just simplify things. Say defensive response. Wherever you see redness that doesn't belong there, whether it's on your knee or whether it's on your face, anywhere where you see redness, that means vasodilation. And vasodilation, opening of blood vessels in the surface of the skin, is one of the ways the immune system gains access to tissues. The immune system has to come out, it travels in the blood, and it has to come out of the blood, and it comes out of the blood. One of the ways the body facilitates its movement out of the blood is vasodilation. So anywhere you see redness, you've got vasodilation, which means you have some kind of immune response, allergic response, defensive response. And again, it's just not complicated here, not medicalizing anything here. What do you do if you have a defensive response that you want it to end? You stop whatever's turning it on, whatever's stimulating it. That's how simple rosacea is to deal with. Now, sometimes rosacea the inflammation that's associated with rosacea can cause sebum to be secreted. Sometimes there's oily skin that's involved. Sometimes there's blemishes involved. Those all can happen. We can get into that here in a little bit. But for right now, if you are dealing with rosacea means redness. If you're dealing with redness, rosacea is just a description of your skin when you have it. It's not, we think it's a disease. It just means redness. If you're dealing with redness, you've got to figure out what's causing the redness. It's vasodilation. Then you got to figure out what's causing the vasodilation. The vasodilation is a defensive response. You got to figure out what's causing the defensive response. So what do? Well, first of all, where's the defensive response initiated? Always in the blood, that is? Food. Not all. If you're injecting something, that can happen too, but food for the most part. So you work with food, with rosacea. Your rosacea will go away when you fast, when you stop eating. And then you start eating foods again, and you see what happens. You start with one food at a time. It's the same thing we talk about with everything, but it's the results and your information that you'll glean from this is much faster with the skin. All right. I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-236-6010. Got Stephen Cure. Coming up in our next segment, you're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. You'll find longevity products and news stories and blog posts at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. The longevity products there as well, and you can click on the Join the Team Now link to join the Brightside Ben team, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. And you can also check out our Truth Skin Health products. Everything your skin needs and nothing it doesn't, all developed in my compounding pharmacy for wound healing, and healing in general is beauty. Same mechanisms, folks, and that's why our Truth Skin Health products can be used to heal cuts and scrapes and accelerate the healing of burns, as well as to beautify the skin, get rid of dark spots, and soften and smooth and anti-age the tissue as well. All working at the cell level, as we've been talking about. Check out all our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. And I am very excited to have our next guest on. Stephen Hewer is a friend of mine. I've known him for now probably 10 or 12 years, I think, probably since 2009 or so. First had a company called Cocoon Nutrition. He's got quite the story and quite the legacy. His new product is a very interesting whey protein that I was fascinated with as soon as I heard about it, and I am sure you will be as well. Please welcome to the bright side my friend Stephen Hewer. What's up, Stephen?
Hey, Ben. It's an honor to be on your show as usual, and I need some of that cream for spots on my skin.
You got spots. I know. That's interesting. We can talk about that. Yeah, we can talk about that later on. I'll give you a call and we'll talk about using treatments and retinol for spots. But now I want to talk about your whey protein and pea protein, I guess. It's whey. Is it a whey and pea blend, or are those two separate products?
No, yeah, it's just a whey protein without any pea protein powder. I think in the literature I compared the whey protein. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of pea protein powder, actually, but whey protein I am a huge fan of, and I know you are as well. But this is a very different kind of whey protein. Well, first tell us a little bit about whey protein. Why are you such a fan? And I know you are, because I've been talking to you for years, and you're always about the whey protein. When I think of Stephen Hewer, I think of whey protein. What is it about whey protein that you love so much? And tell us a little bit about your thoughts on whey protein. Yeah. In general, I didn't really appreciate or know much about it back in 2010 when I was introduced to this product. When I worked in the vitamin department of a health food store back in 89, 90, 91, I was always skinny, always lean guy, and I always wanted to gain muscle, so I tried various protein powders and, whey protein powders, and they always, caused me digestive distress, digestive upset. So I kind of laid off the whey protein powders because I never got any kind of results that were good. And then another guy came by years later, said, hey, mine's grass-fed, minimally processed, kind of medical product. Here's a free container. Please try it. So I did, and again, it didn't cause digestive distress, but it didn't do I didn't feel anything. And so I just set the subject aside and really didn't pursue it until 2010 when I met this scientist friend that spoke with me over the phone about this new invention he had, this new whey protein powder that he thought I might like to try some samples. And I said, sure. I wasn't too excited about getting them and using them because I expected the same results. But as it turned out, after I had my first sample, it took a little while, about 3 hours to kick in, but I felt better. I felt like just more cheerful. That's the best description I can give.
Nice.
And tasted great. So I called him up and I said, this stuff's kind of amazing. Literally made me feel better. Can I have it to distribute it? And he said, yep, it's yours. So I did and started to bottle it. We called it One World Whey at the time, and then the evolution of One World Whey is we found we got better results if we didn't add any flavor, carbohydrates, or sweetener, and now we just produce the whey protein by itself and call it Green Meadow Whey. So having done my research or homework on this subject, you can go back to the middle 1700s and 1800s where there was this discovery made. This one man basically was the one that paved the way. He lived in Zurich, Switzerland in 1749, was very sick. The doctors told him he didn't have much time to live. Local people told him he needed to go to a special dairy farm in Gaius, Switzerland, and start to drink their fresh liquid whey every day, the byproduct of making their cheese. So he did. Went there, started to drink this fresh liquid whey every day, makes this miraculous recovery. Everybody starts flocking to this dairy because of this guy's story to get their fresh liquid whey. Pretty soon they set up a spa there, and the rich go there to youth in their bodies. Basically for a period of about 6 weeks, they drink this fresh liquid whey every morning. The sick go there to try and get well, and everybody got better. So then they set up 160 spas throughout Germany, Switzerland, and Austria throughout the 1800s, where people, and the rich would go to rejuvenate or try and heal, and had a very high success rate of healing. So with that historical knowledge, I then, delved in and found out kind of why, and that was whey being separated from the casein portion of the milk is very rich in certain things, one of them being the sulfur amino acid cysteine. Mm-hmm. And that cysteine is bound to itself in two molecules of cysteine. They call it cysteine. And that particular form of the amino acid as a peptide, you could say dipeptide, gets into the bloodstream and into the cells better than if it was just cysteine by itself. If it was just cysteine, L-cysteine, the intestinal lining tends to use most of it up. But if it's this cysteine, or it's two molecules of cysteine together, then it does feed the lining of the intestines, but it also gets into the bloodstream readily and finally gets into the cell where it breaks down into two molecules of cysteine, which is considered the rate-limiting amino acid in the cell's ability to make glutathione. So the cell has plenty of glutamic acid and glycine all the time, but not enough cysteine. Finally gets it from non-denatured whey, and all of a sudden the cell has the ability to make a more optimal level of glutathione, which, by the way, is fascinating. 10% of the protein content of an optimally healthy cell is supposed to be glutathione. And all these different ailments or diseases, whether it's cardiovascular disease, whether it's cancer, whether it's AIDS, whether it's respiratory problems, whether it's Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, 68 different diseases are all connected to a glutathione deficiency because our bodies can't produce enough when we're either toxic or we're aged, and our body's production declines because of those two factors. So when I started to work with this product and I started to have people call me and say, I've had this heavy metal detox reaction. It took 5 weeks, but this one metallurgist guy basically had metal particles that, embedded in his cheeks for his entire career as he's welding on metal and getting particulate gases on his skin of his face. And he's always had irritation because of it, but he had this series of, 3 days of this itchy, watery eyes, rash on his cheeks for 3 days, and then it would go away for 5, and then come back for 3, go away for 5, come back for 3. And after 5 weeks, all those symptoms were gone, all his metals had detoxed well. And then another guy calls me up and says, my 89-year-old mom, she's been on the drug lithium for a number of years, and I've done her hair test 5 times in a row over 2 years. Each time her hair shows off the chart levels of lithium plus toxic levels of mercury, lead, and arsenic. After 2.5 months on your way, the 6th hair test we did showed that her lithium had come down by the first time by 50%, and the mercury, lead, and arsenic were almost non-detectable. And then another lady told me that she had been on Prozac 20 years, and she got on her way. And after 6 months, the doctor said, "You're doing so much better. Let's reduce your dosage to about 50%." And then after 10 months, the doctor got her off Prozac completely. Her mood was restored. She found out that her depression was from mercury poisoning in her nervous system, and it interfered with the brain's ability to excrete glutamate. So the excess glutamate was causing depression.
Yeah,
So,
hang on to that thought. Hang on to that thought because we got to take a commercial break. But I just want to throw this out, and we talk about it when we come back, Stephen. N-acetylcysteine, right? The supplement N-acetylcysteine.
Yes.
That has there's a lot of really interesting literature that talks about it being used for mental health issues, even things like quitting smoking and addictive behaviors. I wonder if that has to do with glutathione in the brain. Think about that. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. We're talking to Stephen Ewer about detox, glutathione, and protein as well. You're listening to The Bright Side. All right, we're back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Stephen Ewer about glutathione, detoxification, protein. So you were talking about the brain, about mental health issues, and it reminded me of all the amazing stuff cysteine does, or N-acetylcysteine does for mental health issues. I wonder if that has to do with glutathione. It probably has something to do with that, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're right on the money. I mean, you've read the studies, obviously, where that's frequently what's used in the studies is the N-acetylcysteine to raise glutathione in the body. So it's proven to raise glutathione and effectively improve symptoms for people.
There's pretty much nothing that won't improve with a little glutathione, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. If you can optimize your glutathione, it's just like this. All the organs, basically, every tissue is dependent upon it for its survival and functionality. And if you can make optimal glutathione levels exist, kidney function, adrenal function, thyroid function, brain function, they all improve. And
what's interesting is prescription drugs will deplete your glutathione. And you wonder how many people on prescription drugs are lowering their cholesterol because they deplete their glutathione. They have shorter longevity. Nobody even knows. Nobody even thinks about it.
They've documented it's like acetaminophen, Tylenol lowers glutathione so much in the liver and the kidneys, it can cause kidney failure and kill you.
Yeah, even something as seemingly benign as ibuprofen can have that effect. Yes. Do you think whey protein is the best way to get glutathione from a dietary standpoint? The best way to get your glutathione?
Because the Nestle company did a study on this and basically showed that while you can take N-acetylcysteine to raise glutathione somewhat, what controls the body's ability to make glutathione is the intestinal tract. So when the intestinal tract is inflamed, then the body is downregulated. It's instructing the cells not to produce glutathione. When the intestinal tract is uninflamed or like it should be, then the rest of the body is upregulated or signaled to produce glutathione optimally at the cellular level.
I wonder.
So when you're taking the whey, you're taking a food that goes along the entire 25, 30 feet of your tubing of your intestines to feed the lining so that it can have optimal glutathione detoxify itself and eliminate its inflammation. And I have one case history of a guy that had colitis that went away in 30 days on our product. So we know empirically and anecdotally that, and other people have reported consistently that constipation they've had for years goes away, never comes back, because after they get on our way. So the N-acetylcysteine doesn't feed the entire intestinal lining, so you're not going to get that mechanism activated like you would when you're taking the whey. And the whey, also because it's a complete protein, if you're at all in a negative nitrogen balance at all and you take an amino acid, your body's going to break some of it down into glucose, so you're not going to get the full utilization, whereas if you take the food form of in a whey, like our non-denatured whey product, then you're going to get the positive nitrogen balance and a much higher amount of the sulfur amino acids being used to make the glutathione rather than being used as glucose.
That's great. So whey protein is probably the single best way to get glutathione. Any other dietary ways to get glutathione up that you know of?
Yeah, I mean
eggs.
Certain herbs do it. I mean, it's like I know over the years there's certain herbs that have come out, products that have come out. I mean, that one I introduced you to that's in that gold vial, that's supposed to increase glutathione.
And that's an herbal mechanism.
Yeah,
a botanical mechanism.
Yeah.
All right. So now your whey is not any ordinary whey protein. I mean, you get some of these benefits from regular whey, but what is it about your whey that makes it different?
Several things. One is that the inventor that made this product, he first contacted various grass-based dairy farmers and asked them to send him a grass specimen so he could examine it under his microscope. And one particular grass specimen had the highest chloroplast content, which indicated that grass was the most nutrient-dense, which meant that the soil was the most fertile upon which it was growing. So he decided to go with that particular farmer. It's a Amish farmer in upstate New York. It's a large dairy farm. And so that's the most nutrient-dense grass, the most nutrient-dense milk. So that milk is a raw milk product that's then taken to his laboratory, and it's membrane filtered. So most whey on the market is the byproduct of making cheese, so it's an acid whey rather than a sweet whey. Ours is a membrane filtered, so the casein separates through membrane filtration to produce the liquid whey. So then this liquid whey is cold sterilized. So he has a patent on cold sterilization where he doesn't use heat. So heating is the method that everybody uses because by law you have to eradicate all the bacteria that's naturally in the milk. So by law everybody does that through heat sterilization. So that's 161 degrees for 15 seconds. First is milk, and then again after they've made the cheese and it's got the liquid whey, they repeat that process on the liquid whey. So it's heated twice at 161 degrees for 15 seconds.
Do they know what that does to the peptides and the enzymes and the various nutrients in there?
I think a lot of the people that are on the higher end of producing a higher quality product know, and they just don't have a way around it. Mm-hmm. People that produce the lower quality product don't even know. They don't even recognize the value, that the destruction that they're causing of the peptides and the amino acids. So anyways, that destroys the phosphatase enzyme in the milk, which is an enzyme involved in calcium metabolism. It's one of the reasons that people get calcification of the joints and soft tissues when they drink pasteurized dairy in high amounts, is because they don't have any phosphatase to utilize the calcium. So the destructive process, I mean, if you look at calves that are raised, one on raw milk, one on pasteurized milk, the calf that's raised on the pasteurized milk develops a bloated belly, organs that are, instead of a dark red, amber color, there's like a tan, unhealthy, anemic color. The one that gets the raw milk develops really healthy liver, really healthy kidneys, that deep, dark, copper red color to the organs. It's very healthy. No bloated belly, perfect coat, perfect abdomen. It's just proven empirically in animals and in humans that raw dairy is really the way we're designed to consume it. So this pasteurization is really a crime. And then one company, I think, out there does it so that it's one pasteurization step. So it's just 145 degrees for 30 minutes. That's called VAT pasteurization. That's also called native whey, but it's still, damaged by heat. So there's very, very few whey protein products on the market are grass-fed, like ours is. There's a small spectrum, but then they don't even really compare because of that heat sterilization process that bends and twists the proteins into basically unfolds the protein so that now it can't activate receptor sites in your body to do its job. So you can't get the benefit of lactoferrin for weight loss and for antimicrobial killing infection effect. You can't get the benefit of the immunoglobulins, because they're now denatured. So ours, because of the cold processing, preserves the amino acid and protein structure the way nature created it. So you get the full benefit from the immunoglobulins, the lactoferrin, the glycomacropeptide, and plus the amino acids that are going to eventually, be derived from the broken down protein to fuel protein synthesis in the body. And one of those is muscle. So, whey is the richest source of the branched chain amino acids, which are valine, leucine, and isoleucine. They compose the higher percentage of muscle tissue. And I've had quite a few, several people call me and say, yeah, I've gained muscle, I've gained 30 to 50% increase in my lift strength. And a lot of people tell me, they say, all the other ways I've tried, I have digestive distress. Yours doesn't do that. Even people with lactose intolerance say, no problem with your product, because it's just such a tiny amount. Body seems to be able to fully digest it. So
even people who ordinarily can't take whey may be able to use your whey without any untoward effects.
Yes, we've had a number of people call us and tell us that, and that's exactly what happens, because it's like the body can finally utilize it. It's not going to, when you bend and twist proteins and amino acids, it's now a toxin to the body. So you're going to create an inflammatory response. You're going to have to open up lymphatic pathways. You're going to have to, overwork your liver and kidneys to excrete this denatured protein amino acid structure. So it's actually a stress to the body and suppresses your health if you have any health challenges. Only the most robust constitutions, bodybuilders and stuff, seem to be able to derive some benefit from the denatured stuff and still excrete all the, toxins that the body can't use and still do okay. But the vast majority of people aren't in that category, and we live in such a toxic world, and our bodies are exposed to so many toxins dietarily and, glyphosate and electromagnetic pollution that the need for enhancing your detoxification is more important than ever, and if you want to maintain your health and live disease-free your whole life. The other thing is that after the whey is done through this cold sterilization, the inventor puts a Tesla-like frequency encoded into the whey. So that makes the whey, it's designing the whey to basically activate the cells to produce more protein and more energy. And based, again, on my personal experience, one of the reasons that I switched from a flavored product to just the whey was because I tried it by itself a few years ago, and it was like I had this 9-hour lift in my energy where I was just super productive, super happy, super focused, and just, giddy. It's just amazing sometimes what a lift you can get, and that's what I hear from people all the time. They call and say, yeah, I feel this 5 to 6 hour lift in my energy. It feels wonderful, and, some people say that, my craving for animal proteins goes down because I'm now being fueled by this product.
Stephen, we're out of time, buddy. I want you to tell everybody how to get this product.
Go to greenmeadowwhey.com, greenmeadowwhey.com. That'll take you to, starting tomorrow through the 28th of this month, is 17% off. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Ben, and you can call me at 888-988-3325, 888-988-3325. I appreciate the opportunity, Ben.
Hey, Steve, we'll talk to you again soon. That's Stephen Huer, Green Meadow Whey. Check it out, greenmeadowwhey.com. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a beautiful, awesome, spectacular day, folks. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.